What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Awaken Your Spirit. I'm the money chick because guess what? Money is just the result of you aligning with your heart and your soul. And this is why David is here to help us, because he is the energetic soul activator. And I know that may sound weird to some of you, but I guarantee you, with the work that I've done with David over the last 5 years, my life is completely different because I have shifted and aligned more with my heart and my soul. And then more money shows up. That's how it works. Money is just the result. So David and I were talking before we got on here about how so many of us are having these old patterns that keep creeping up. It's like, I already got rid of that. Why in the hell is it back? Myself included, I have had a doozy this week. And, we're all going through it because this is where this collective consciousness pattern repeat thing is coming up for everybody going, yeah, no more codependent relationships. They're moving to interdependent. Oh, no more. It's everybody else's problem because it's only showing up in your world because you're mirroring that to them. And it's really your stuff, not their stuff. It might be our stuff, but I don't know, David, would you like to share your thoughts on the topic?
Sure. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm the energy dude these days. But, one thing about with the work I do, I have the privilege of having a pretty, during the week of working with a lot of people from a lot of different directions in life, all sorts of different levels of consciousness and different levels of society. And the main thing, Julie and I were talking about that before we got on. It was like, man, everybody's aware of their patterns. They're sick of their patterns and they want to break out. They want to change. They don't, and I said, well, maybe part of this was because of, the COVID and a lot of self-reflection. But it's like, once you're aware of something, then, then it's like, what do I do about it? Well, there's one or two things you do. You either ignore it and pretend it isn't there, which doesn't work. Right. Or you move forward and you go, I got to change this stuff. And you know what? It falls on me. I'm the one who got to change it. And it's like, so
true.
When we talk about energy and money and consciousness, it's all connected. And so from initially from the patterns that you grew up in, from the stories you told yourself about who you are, what you were, and the emotional reinforcement of that.
Right.
Really created a vibrational grid for you. And most people can't get out of that until they, particularly if there's a lot of self-judgment, a lot of fear, a lot of that stuff, because we have to get into our heart. We have to get out of our minds. And most of us are out of our minds anyway, just kidding. But
that's good, because we're supposed to be getting into our hearts.
and into our hearts. And why the hearts? I say this every time, but it's because we have to have emotional intelligence. We have to connect into that level of ourselves, which is there, and for most people is dormant. It's a treasure trove of empowerment and creativity and amazing things that has just been hidden away. Well, now it's time to really open that. And and that is the key to getting out of these patterns, is to literally move into another level of energy, another level of yourself that's been waiting for you. It's like, I wonder if you're ever going to open this door. I wonder if you're ever going to connect into your authentic or true self. You've got this self that's got the stories going, and
yeah, we got the stories, all right.
There comes a time where you just want to tell the story.
Right.
And so we are being pushed globally as a society, because of the high frequency of light that's coming in on the planet, to wake up, to metamorph. And the metamorphosis is going, from the caterpillar to the butterfly. It's time to wake up, get out of your stories, get out of your head, get into your heart, get into that place, because in your heart, there's tremendous power. Once you really connect into those forces within you, you have tremendous forces of energy to empower yourself out of the trap that you're in, and move into a whole new level. It's the inner journey is very extraordinary. For years, I spent years traveling around the world looking for power spots. Well, you know what? The power spot was within me, actually. And so, I was at all the great pyramids and all over the place. But when I finally could settle down enough to literally kind of face myself, and when I say face myself, it was like, it was like, when are you going to open your heart? When are you going to do that? And of course, it's always about deciding. It's that decision, like anything in life, that moment that we come to that decision within us of, I can't do this way anymore. Something has to change. Okay, I'll open my friggin' heart. How do I do that? What are the first steps? And the first steps are just deciding you're going to do it. And I think on any creative thing that we do, a lot of times, it's the people that expand and grow and become successful, the ones that are willing to take those chances and going, okay, I'm going to jump in, but I don't know how. But I'm going to jump in and figure it out on the fly. And as you do that, you're about to walk into one of the biggest journeys of your life, and that's getting to know yourself from your heart level, from that level of intelligence. And that's going to really shift you completely, because when you get into the core of you, when you get into that level of knowing and intelligence, you start to see things in very different ways. And it's like, so getting, the first level of getting to fall in love with yourself, to connect with yourself, is to quit judging yourself, quit going into the past and judging yourself and everybody else and going, you know what, I'm going to put the judge aside. Let's put that aside. Who cares what the reason was or why? It's like, what am I going to do about it today? How am I going to make my life better in this moment today? Well, first of all, you got to start feeling better. You got to feeling better about yourself. So, I often tell people that when they're on this journey, it's like, what are you going to do today for yourself that brings you joy, that brings you pleasure? And it could be out, you go down and you buy yourself some flowers, or maybe you go for a walk, or maybe you, go get your favorite hamburger or whatever, but just something that's special for you. And that's the beginning step. And then you start doing more and more things that are special for you. It's like we're so focused on out there, right? What other people are doing, what other people are saying, all of that. And to kind of turn that around and focus on yourself. And people are like, well, that's self-centered. And it's like, you know what? You're never going to heal if you don't focus on yourself and care for yourself, because nobody else really gives a shit. They're all busy doing their thing. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm just saying they're trying to figure their stuff out, and they don't have time to figure your stuff out. And they actually, most of them really don't care, except maybe people are really close to you.
But yeah, we think that it's about them, but it's really about us.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's what so many of us don't realize. And I really just think that it's important for everybody to hear that, trust me, people have shown up in incredible ways and been a mirror to you to show you what it is in your inside that needs to shift. I had an experience over this weekend, David, you and I were talking about it, and how I wound up, it was like deja vu. It was like the same experience I had experienced with my family and the guy that I'm dating. And it was like, we uncovered that there was a core wound within inside me, that it felt like betrayal, that it was them against me. It was like they ganged up, and it was just like, I'm the only one, the common denominator here. So I've now gotten to a place of awareness to where I can just observe going, this is the weirdest thing ever. I'm watching this happen and I'm going, I'm not playing this game again. I'm not doing this pattern again. And this is what my work has been this week in terms of going, no, I don't need, there's a core wound somewhere in me for some reason, hardwired as to that it was betrayal. And so what we don't realize on a spiritual level is that all we have to do is shine the light on it. Like I'm a doer, right? And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And you're like, well, let's just put energy to it and let it shine the light on it so it can come up and out. And I have so many experiences since I've started this spiritual journey with you, David, that literally it's just shine the light on it and then it goes. It's really fascinating, and it is that easy. And we don't necessarily believe that it is that easy, but it can be. Spiritual solutions are very simple and they're very easy, and they bring you an incredible amount of joy and happiness once you can surrender into the easy. We choose the hard. That's what we don't understand. You know?
Well, right. Well, we've been taught that anything worthwhile, you have to struggle, you have to fight, you have to make it happen, right?
Old patterns. Yeah.
And so our society does not understand.
That's true.
And surrender is actually a state of it's a state of power, and that is, I give up. Everything that I have tried to do doesn't work. So what, in that state of surrender, in that state of empowerment, it's like, okay, universe, okay, source, what do I need to do in order to make my life better? What do I need to do to heal this? What do I need to do to not be that partner of mine that keeps reflecting the same thing over and over? And how
your ex-partner in my case.
So how do I get past murderous rage?
Oh, right. Yeah.
That I can make an effective choice, an effective, and move out of this, because I'm tired of it. It's exhausting. It's just frigging exhausting. I don't want to listen to my head anymore. I don't want, so, and that's at the point where sometimes in surrender that, the proverbial door opens, something is revealed to us, somebody shows up, something happens, we go, oh, these are my next steps forward. And so really what we're doing, what we're talking about, is we're deconstructing an old pattern of consciousness. And that deconstruction goes on 24/7. It's like we have to undo, uncreate a lot of old patterning.
That's true.
It's dysfunctional, and not make a story about it. Go, you know what? It just doesn't work. And I'm trying to figure out I'm not going to figure out who was right and who's wrong. It just doesn't work. What do I need to move forward?
Right.
And so, and I'm always the guy that goes, you got to go into your heart. You got to go into your core.
Right.
And I tell all women and men that have their hearts open enough, I said, go in and connect and see how much you love your children unconditionally. Most women can go there. And when they go there, then you need to do that with yourself.
Which most women don't know how to do that.
They don't.
They have no clue how to do that. Because we've been taught as women to have it for everybody else. And if there's crumbs left over, that's what you get. And that's what many of our moms reflected to us. Right.
But you do have that unconditional love for your children. I know you do.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah. So anyway, my point is that you have to have that for yourself.
Right.
We all.
Yep.
If you can't have a loving relationship with yourself, who in the hell are you going to get along with?
Yep.
I mean, seriously, right?
Totally agreed.
So, and it's like, it's so basic. And in one way, it's so simple, but in another way, getting through all this, it's like we've been wired a certain way. And it's like pulling all those wires and pulling all that, deconstructing that self takes a lot of energy. It takes a strong intent.
Yep.
because we've programmed ourselves to be a certain way. And so our default mode is to go right back to what we know, even if it doesn't work, even if we
Right.
suffer. And so, the challenge is to really push through that wall.
So Doreen says, how do we get over this, David? How do we get over the patternings? How do we get over? She wants to know, how do we get over this?
Over the patterning?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, one is to recognize it and be really clear about what the pattern is.
Yep.
Two is to know that you're not the pattern. It's something that has been created. And so it's almost like it's a created program within you, and it's your default, right? Most people will go into their pattern the minute they get into fear.
That's what it is. Well, when I would even say that you get into your pattern when you go to a place of reactivity.
Right.
Because your nervous system is now hijacked, and then you go into your coping mechanisms.
Right. So, default mode, coping mechanisms, and then you're a victim. And you can never, once you're a victim, you're helpless. Okay? And you'll pull up all the stories and all the stuff of why you can't change. And so the trajectory is, then you need to find a way to get into your heart, that unconditional love for you, just like you have for your children, getting into that heart space. Right. and going, I love you. I'm sorry we're in this mess. And, and I'm going to help you find a way out. So being loving means that you have to be really kind to yourself rather than judgmental. So usually the story that goes when the victim happens, it goes, this always happens. You're never going to get out of it. And you go into the story.
Right.
Stop yourself at that moment and go, you know what? We are going to get out of this. And the first thing I want to do for you is do something really nice for you. So rather than beating yourself up and going into hopelessness, do something that is really loving, whether it's going and getting yourself some flowers, whatever that might be. It might be just a walk.
Right.
Shifting your perception and going, it's the beginning of disrupting the pattern. Okay.
Right.
So even if it's taking a walk and noticing how beautiful it is outside, and maybe noticing this, depending on where you live, right? If the spring flowers are starting to come up, and it's like yesterday I was on this hike and the spring flowers are coming up, and I was thinking about humans and how trapped they were in their patterns. And then I was thinking about, Mother Earth, she has this cycle that happens. There's winter and then spring comes. And with spring,
summer, or fall.
Right. and so part of where humans have gotten themselves in trouble is we've gotten kind of out of the natural cycle and flow of life and created these literally artificial programs within us that have kept us so disconnected. So, the call now, the light that's coming in on the planet, the whole thing with COVID was inner reflection. Everybody had to stop, and hopefully they use the time in a constructive way to where they could start reflecting and thinking about themselves a little bit rather than being so distracted, So, and that's because we're being called to awaken into, it's the awakening of our spirit, to connect, to take the time to become connected with ourselves again.
Right.
Because it's like, especially moms, dads are busy, but moms are really busy because they got the kids, they got the husband probably, and all this stuff going on. So there's endless distraction all day long. And then to take some time to themselves, they feel guilty. It's like, oh my God, I got so many things to do, and I'm going to go do what? I'm going to go for a walk. I should be doing this, that.
Well, trust me, I'm as busy as the next person. I run a business. I have 4 kids. I'm divorced. And, I remember thinking, going, what do you mean I have to do something for me? I remember when you said that to me. I remember being like, Jesus, like I need another thing to do. Like, I just was like, what? Like, I'm the one that pays alimony. I pay for all my kids' private education. I have to pay for all their college. Like I have no support on that stuff. And it's just like, it has shifted incredibly since I chose for me to be the priority. Like as an example, we're supposed to do this at 8 o'clock this morning. I was running a few minutes late because I came first and I made sure I got my 45 minutes on my Peloton this morning. So I was 11 minutes late. But you know what? I took care of me first. And then I shared myself with the world. And these are the little things that shift it for you. You know, it's those daily little things of, even if it's taking your cell phone and turning it off for the afternoon, that's really empowering. If you haven't tried that one lately, do it. There is a profound sense of freedom if you just put it in a drawer, turn it off, and then just go about your day the way we used to, old school, you know, where you just lived your day without like responding to everything that comes at you. And that's choosing you, choosing the quiet, choosing the, it was amazing. I chose to do that about 4 months ago, where I took a whole day and I literally turned my cell phone off and I just stayed at home. And I was just like, I'm going to do whatever I'm guided to do. And I got some incredible messages from Spirit that day because I shut the noise off and I sat in prayer, meditation, contemplation all day long, and everything that I did in my home, you know, when my kids were at their dad's house. Like, it is really absolutely fascinating. And that's kind of been one of the gifts of the pandemic. Like, we were forced inside and we weren't distracting ourselves any longer with all the noise in the outside world. That's been an incredible gift. And I just really want everybody to know that no matter what your pattern is that's coming up, it's coming up because it's leaving. That's why it's coming up. That's the good news. So don't worry about it. You're here. You're here with me and David is going to share the energy in this meditation that will help lift it up and out and bring that light. And be sure to come back next Tuesday. And please share this with your friends and family, because we want to help people at large, because we are all starving to get rid of these old patterns. Because here's what I know in the work that I do. We either work things out or we act it out. We do it through our money, through our relationships, or through our health. And I guarantee you, if you don't start to align with your heart and soul and get rid of these old patterns, the only thing that happens is that your emotions stuff down in your body, they crystallize and create disease. That's how it works as a human being. And then you call a crisis into your life to have your spiritual awakening. And right now what we're saying is, you don't have to call that crisis in any longer. That was like the old way to do it. We don't have to wait for the crisis. My dad, 57 years old, had two major strokes. You know, we don't have to have that crisis, because that crystallization of what he wasn't addressing in his life. And, you know, there's many of us. 2016, I wound up having a scare of breast cancer. And I was like, no, I teach this stuff. I don't need to manifest that to the next layer. Then it was a year later. It's like, you have an autoimmune disease. I'm like, no, I don't need to manifest an autoimmune disease. And so then that went away and it was me addressing the stuff that was going on in my marriage. And now I'm divorced and I don't have any issues from breast cancer or autoimmune. Like, they completely disappeared because I addressed the stuff that was creating the disease in the first place, because I started to choose my own heart, my own soul, and I decided to change my patterns. And I decided to release the stories that were all around that. And so, David, can you take us there in the energy?
I can.
Do you have something else to say, though? I have a feeling you have.
I do, real briefly.
Okay.
So, you know, it's body, mind, spirit. And when we start to heal, when we start to transform, one, we got to get our physical body moving. And wherever you are on that level, whether it's starting with walking, taking a walk or whatever, you got to get that energy moving. So ultimately, as you get your body moving, you get your metabolism moving, you get your brain working and functioning better, and so as you move into the heart, and we're going to go into this energy in just a moment, it's about then your whole inner dynamic, the energy flow in your body starts to move in a significant way. The blood starts to flow, the heart opens, and and you can feel a force, a life force happening throughout your physical body. And that's part of the opening of the heart, part of the opening of consciousness, because the more energy you have it flowing through you, the more alive you're going to be, and the more opportunity you have to show up for yourself, for your loved ones, in in a way that where you're just at an optimum place, right? It doesn't matter how old you are.
Yep.
And so, all right, well, let's go into the energy. And I just want to tell everybody, there's no way you can do it wrong. Just do it. You kind of let it flow the way it flows. So, so I'd like everybody to imagine themselves in a really big pyramid of light, like, you know, the Pyramid of Giza, and yeah. And so we want to imagine that pyramid, like the Great Pyramid in Egypt, and you're in that pyramid, and there's actually 13 of them, one on top of another. We like the magical number of 13. And at the base of the pyramid are 3 circles of light. And 3 circles of light are 13 mama dragons, 13 pointed stars, and 13 dream weavers. You're like, why does this guy use 13? Well, first of all, I was born on the 13th, but you know, also it's a very sacred number in different traditions. So we're going to bring that, we're going to bring this force of light, this plasma light, this radiant plasma light into your toes, your arches, your heels. And I want you to feel that light moving up your legs, just a beautiful force of light flowing up your legs. Feel it moving into your hips. And we want to come to the base of the spine. And when we get to the base of your spine, which is a power spot, we want to place a radiant sun at that at that power spot. So I want you to feel just like a radiant sun at the base of your spine, feeling the warmth of that, the power of that. Just feel that area switching on, and we're going to bring that light right up your spine into your heart center. And so at the heart, again, I want to place a radiant sun, and we just want to feel like an explosion of light. And just, I want you to feel the warmth in your heart. Just, you know, just feel your heart really starting to open, expand. You know, for some of this, you do it all the time. For those that are new to it, just feel that, feel movement, feel energy there, feel something igniting, and feel the force of that radiant light. There we go. And we're going to continue right up the spine with that light. I want you to feel a flow of light, almost like a rush of an ocean, flowing into your shoulders, your upper arms, your lower arms, your hands, your fingers. Feel that force of energy, and we're going to place a radiant sun in your palms and your fingertips. And just think about how you use these hands throughout your day. It's part of your creativity, part of your creative force. And so we really want to feel a lot of life force and energy in the palms. There you go. And we're going to go back to the brainstem and place a radiant sun. So this is at the base of the brain, and just feel the energy at the base of the brain, and feel that radiant sun. So feel your whole brain is starting to switch on, become really activated, starting to wake up, and feel all the neurons kicking on. There you go. We just want to feel that radiance. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a figure 8 of pattern of energy going from the base of your spine through your heart, looping up around and connecting into the brainstem and back. So there's a figure 8 of energy, of radiant light that's going up and down your spine, flowing continuously as we're doing this work. We're going to go back to the brainstem. At the brainstem, we're going to activate your thymus, your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your pineal glands. So your whole glandular system is really switching on now. And we're going to go into the pineal gland, which is in the center of the brain. And that is, the pineal gland is that part of the brain that connects you into higher consciousness. So we're going to, and it's going to connect you into holographic and multidimensional consciousness. It's going to connect you into the multiverse, connecting you into your higher levels of light, connecting you into galactic levels. So the whole neurostructure of the brain is starting, the neurons are switching on, kind of feeling a radiance and a flow of energy there in the brain. There we go. And what I'd like you to do now is, as we're moving in this energy, I'd like you to feel yourself spiraling out the apex of the pyramid that you've been in. And as you're spiraling out, you're going to do that coming out your third eye through the apex of the pyramid. And now I want you to experience yourself traveling through a galactic corridor of light, of spiraling light. And as you're traveling through this galactic corridor of light, you are light in form. You are like radiant light in form, traveling through this galactic corridor. And I want you to feel the plasma that is the central sun merging with the plasma of your blood, feeling that fusion of light, feeling that radiance. And as you feel that radiance of this light coursing through your entire pulmonary system, just feeling the blood crystals and the crystals of the blood just becoming like radiant diamonds, just that whole flow of light really moving through your entire system, feeling every neuron switching on, just feeling the radiance of that light moving in and through your whole pulmonary system. Here we go. And so as you're feeling that coming alive, we're going to travel through this galactic galactic corridor and into through a galactic gateway, and we're going to go right into a kaleidoscope of radiant fractal light. So I want you to imagine a kaleidoscope and seeing the beauty of the fractals of light, all those incredible colors, and the feeling that just all the radiant light and the endless beauty of that kaleidoscope as you're traveling through it. Feeling it really just reconfigure your energy. It's like taking all that energy, maybe fear, maybe depression, and it's literally just being brought through this kaleidoscope and clearing all the negativity, all the heaviness, so that you're starting to feel radiant light, beautiful fractals of light, beautiful configurations of light. You know, as we're doing that, notice at the very apex of this kaleidoscope is a radiant all-seeing eye, and I'd like you to feel yourself being drawn through that eye and going directly into the central sun. So the central sun is like if you were to look at our sun and just feel yourself being directed right into the core of that. And as you go into the core of it, I'm going to really kind of kick up the energy now. And I want you to see if you can feel that sun connecting into your heart chakra. See if you can feel the energy of that sun really activating an energy in your heart that it can be anything from a tingling feeling to, when you get pretty masterful at this stuff, is like feeling a frequency of ecstasy, a really wonderful energy and light just connecting into your heart. And I'd like you to just imagine your heart being ignited by this light, by the light of the central sun, by the light of the sun. So it's very pure, it's very radiant. And just knowing that as you're connecting into this light, it's going to activate your heart. It's going to start opening you and expanding and connecting you. And you're just going to maybe start feeling things reconnecting, opening up. As you go through your day, you might start feeling really some, it's like, man, I'm feeling a little bit different here. I'm starting to like connect into things, remember things that give me joy, remember things that bring me to a place of great feeling of gratitude. for this very moment, for this very life force that's happening through me and to me, and really just feel that energy flowing. And so I'm going to be silent for a few minutes, and we're just going to really let this energy flow. Hmm.
David, how are we feeling? We are at the hour.
We'll go.
Everyone, thanks for joining us again for another week of sharing this soulful energy to get you to the next right step for yourself. And certainly, if you need help on your journey along the way, I've included a link below. I'm giving out a free copy of my book. All you do have to do is pay for your own shipping. And by all means, David and I are here weekly to help. And David, I will also put your web address down below so that if people would like to reach David directly for one-on-one sessions, I just put his website below, and then you can get to the next right step for yourself, and you can do some one-on-one work with David, because I wanted to share him with the world here. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.